Hello traders, I welcome you to E-marketTubeFX, and you are with your trader Henry Ampem. Today we are going to look at another important topic in this forex industry, which has to do with forex currency pairs. So with regard to the forex currency pairs, the heartbeat of forex trading. Each trade is a bet on the strength of one currency versus another. Knowing how to read pairs, classify them, and understanding their behavior is the first step to becoming a skilled trader. So that is it. If you are a trader and you have knowledge as to the behavior of these currency pairs, if you know how to classify them, if you have knowledge as to how to read these currency pairs, then it's a first step to becoming a bull trader. It's something that you cannot joke with. I always do my best to tell my students that the knowledge of the market is more important than the money that you deposit into your account to trade with. Because if you are being given 100,000 USD without the knowledge of the market, you can easily blow that money. But if you have knowledge as to how to trade this market, and you being given either 100 or 200 USD or 500 USD or 1000 USD, you will know how to grow this money in time, of which you are not going to see either 100 USD as a principal money that you deposited. You are going to see that there will be profit, of which if not twice or thrice of what you deposited, you see appreciable money or profit, which can help you to remain in this industry in the long term. So that is what I have for you at this very moment. So today, as I earlier mentioned, we are going to look at the forex currency pairs, so that you, being a newbie, finding a challenge with regard to how to grab or comprehend this concept, this video will help you to understand the forex currency pair. If you are also a trader and you have some level of experience with the chart, and still you find a challenge with regard to how to comprehend this forex currency pair, this video will also help you to deepen your understanding when it comes to the forex currency pair. So as you can see on the screen, this is Euro USD chart. So on the forex market, there is something we say that we plan our trade, then we trade our plan. So as you can see, my horizontal bar, that is my support resistance, neatly drawn. Today being Sunday, we are waiting for market to open. Then we expect market or price to respect all these key zones drawn on the chart, so that we can use it to take decision as to whether it is prudent for us to enter the market or not. So all that I want to tell you here at this very moment is that the knowledge of the market is something that you cannot joke with. So quickly, as we always do at E-marketTubeFX, we do our best to bring classroom to YouTube. So as I usually do, I've penned down very important stuffs on the slide that I want to share with you guys. Then as and when the need arises, we will come back to the charts you see here. Then we guide you guys through as to the technical ideas mentioned on the slide, so that it can help you to deepen your understanding when it comes to the forex currency pairs that we are going to look at. So quickly, let's go to the slide so that you too can have a view of what I want to share with you. So as you can see, forex currency pairs, that is what we are going to look at today. So if you've joined me on YouTube, if you've joined me on Facebook or any other social media handle, all I want to tell you is that do well and watch this video to the end, so that you too can deepen your understanding when it comes to the forex currency pair. Then also, do not forget to subscribe, you like and share. so that anytime I make new video, you will be the first person to watch. And then as you continue to share my content with friends and loved ones, they will also have opportunity to learn from what you are learning from E-marketTubeFX, so that together we all trade this market in the right way and make that dream profit that we are looking for. So as you can see on your screen, that is what we are going to look at today. Now let's look at the Forex currency pair. So Forex trading always involves two currencies being traded against each other. That is why prices are quoted in pairs. So on the Forex market, as you can see, we have the pairs here: Euro USD, GBP USD, USD JPY, USD CHF, USD CAD, AUD USD, then NZD USD. So on the Forex market, the currencies are paired against each other. So what does this mean? This means that for example, having a Euro USD equal to 1.1000, what does this mean? This means that 1 euro is equal to $1.10. So if you need 1 euro, you need $1.10 to get what? 1 euro. That is what it means. I repeat, the Euro USD, as you see here, with 1.100, what it means is that if you need 1 euro, you will need $1.10 before you can get what? 1 euro. So that is what it means. So if we come to the chart, so as I earlier mentioned, we'll do our best as and when the need arise. We come to the chart, then we look at those technical stuff that we are mentioning. So over here, as you can see on the chart, now we have what? That is the Euro USD on the real chart. This is a trading view. So the current price for the Euro USD is 1.16632. So approximately we are talking about 1.17. So what it means is that if you need 1 euro, you will need $1.17 to get 1 euro. That is the meaning. What we just read from the slide, that is the meaning. So this is the current price for the Euro USD on the Forex market. So that is what I want you guys to. So as and when you see price moving up and down, that is what you should take note. So on the Forex market, we Forex traders earn money from the fluctuation of the exchange rate. So as and when you push a button for a buy, as the exchange rate goes up, as the exchange rate goes beyond your entry price, that is where you're going to make profit from. If you push a button for a sell, as and when the exchange rate goes down below your entry price, that is where we make profit from. So for we Forex traders, that is how we make money. We make money from the fluctuation of the exchange rate. So when is the exchange rate going to go down? When is the exchange rate going to go up? That is where you have to do your best to have in-depth knowledge as to how you can do the fundamental and the technical analysis, so that you too can know how you are going to do this analysis to predict when price is going to go up, the exchange rate is going to go up, then when the exchange rate is going to go down, so that you too can make profit from the fluctuation of the exchange rate on the Forex market. So now let's go back to the slide so that we can continue with what I want to share with you. Remember, you are with E-marketTubeFX and you are with your trader Henry and Pemdako. Today I'm going to do my best to help you newbie or a trader having a challenge with regard to understanding this Forex currency pair, to also comprehend whatever you need to know, so that you too can have a fair knowledge as to how this thing works and use it to make the right decision on the Forex market. So let's continue. So structure of a currency pair. So each pair has two parts. Yes, so we are now looking at the structure of the currency pair. So as you can see here, we have a Euro USD, the GBP USD, the USD JPY, USD CHF, USD CAD. Now we are going to look at this structure very well. So over here, we are saying that each pair has two parts. What are the parts? base currency. That is the first one. So one of the parts of this currency pair is what? Base currency. So when we talk about base currency, what are we talking about? The currency you are buying, or the currency that comes first. So when we come to the euro, USD, and the other currencies that we have here, over here the euro happens to be the base currency. That is what I want you to take note. The euro here happens to be the base currency. So now let's continue. So we are saying that the currency you are buying, that is the first currency. Example, in euro USD, the euro is the base currency, as I've already shown you. So the euro is the base currency. Now, what about the quote currency? When we talk about the quote currency, what are we talking about? The quote currency over here refers to what? The second currency in the currency pair. So over here, we are saying that the euro is the base currency. Then with the USD happens to be the second currency, and this currency pair happens to be the what? The quote currency. So when we come to GBP JPY, the GBP, which is the Great British Pound, happens to be the quote currency. Then the GBP JPY rather happens to be the base currency. You pardon me. The GBP JPY happens to be the base currency. Then the USD happens to be the quote currency. When we come to the USD JPY market, we have the USD happens to be the base currency, then the JPY happens to be the quote currency because it is the second currency in the currency pair. So that is what I want you guys to take note of. So as we continue, so as I earlier mentioned, the currency you use to measure the base currency. So for example, in Euro USD, the USD is the quote currency, as I've already explained to you guys. So if Euro USD is equal to 1.100, it means it will cost you, that is $1.10 to buy 1 euro. So that is what it means. So as we went to the real chart on Trading View, you saw that for you to get 1 euro in the Euro USD market, for you to get 1 euro, it is going to cost you, that is the current price, it's going to cost you, that is $1.17 before you can get what? 1 euro. I pray you understand whatever I'm discussing with you, I'm sharing with you at this very moment. Remember, you are with E-marketTubeFX and you are with your trader Henry Ampem. Let's continue. Now, types of currency pairs. Types of currency pair. This currency pairs that we are looking at, it comes with types of which, as a newbie, you should know. Let me also add that on the Forex market, some of these concepts or this topic that I'm sharing with you, which has to do with the Forex currency pair, you may see it as not being important because you need a strategy that can fetch you. A strategy or a signal that can fetch you 1,000 USD in your account today. That is what you are looking for, a signal. Somebody should send you a signal. Meanwhile, you don't understand the basic things on the market. How do you make that profit? You need a signal that can make you the 1,000 USD today. Meanwhile, you don't understand some of these basic things on the market. So on the market, as I earlier mentioned, we don't gamble over there. In all the videos that I do, you hear me saying that, or the content I have on YouTube, you hear me saying that the knowledge of the market is more important than the money that you deposit. These professional traders that we see them flashing their, their earnings, their profits on all their channels or social media platform that they are in, be it Kojo Forex, be it John Gatti, be it Happy Forex, Jeffrey Benson, the Dapo Willis, the big guys that we see them on social media showing their wins, their profit, and every now and then they did it the hard way. They did it the hard way. They did it the hard way. They know whatever they are doing on the chart, that is helping them to fetch that profit from the market. So if you're a newbie, never think that some of this content is not important. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Be very fall in love with the basic things like what I'm sharing with you, so that whenever you open chart, you have a better understanding as to how this market works. So as I earlier mentioned, the market or the forex currency pairs come with a what type? We have 3 types, of which one of them happens to be what? A major currency pair. Then the other happens to be the minor currency pairs. Then the last one happens to be the exotic currency pair. We are going to look at all these types in details. Yes, today I'm going to do my best to kill this thing for you. So if you have challenge as to how to comprehend this particular concept, this video will be the end for you. This video or this content I'm giving you with regard to the forex currency pair is going to help you to deepen your understanding when it comes to the currency pair, so that as and when you open chart, you know, or you have a better understanding of whatever is being presented to you on the chart. Now let's go to the major currency pair. When we talk about the major currency pair, what are we talking about? Always include the US dollar. That is it. So when we talk about the major currency pairs, we are saying that it always include the US dollar and one other major economy or other major pair. So over here, what are we talking about? Most liquid and heavily traded with tight spread, low transaction cost. So when we say tight spread, it means that it comes with what? A low transaction cost. I said with the major currency pairs, it always include the USD. The USD is a major currency when it comes to the forex market. I repeat, the USD, the United States dollar, is a major currency when it comes to the forex market. You can't talk about the forex market without talking about the USD. It's a very powerful currency, the USD. So when we talk about the major currency pair, I repeat, is a currency pair which always include what? The USD and other major economy, their currency. So for example, as we have here, we have the euro, which is the currency which is being used by the European Union. So we have the euro, then that of the what? The USD. So that is the euro USD. So the full meaning is what we have there, the euro versus the US dollar. Then also we have the USD, then that of the JPY. What it means, the full meaning is the US dollar versus the Japanese yen. So I've already taught you the base currency and that of what? The quote currency. So over here, I pray that as we move along, you understand the structure. The one which happens to be the base currency and the one which happens to be the quote currency. So over here, the euro happens to be the base currency and the USD happens to be the quote currency. So when we come to the USD JPY market, the USD happens to be the base currency, then the JPY happens to be the quote currency. So the other pair that we can also talk about is the GBP, which is the Great British Pound, and the USD. So over here, the Great British Pound happens to be the base currency because it is the first currency in the currency pair. Because it is the first currency in the currency pair. Then we have the USD happens to be the quote currency because it is the second currency in this currency pair. So that is what I want you to understand. Then we also have another currency pair, which is the USD CHF. So when you talk about USD CHF, what does it mean? As a trader, you should do your best to understand the meaning of these symbols that we have on the chart. So, or what I'm showing you. So with this symbol, which is the USD CHF, what does the CHF mean? So what it means is the Swiss franc. So the United States dollar versus the Swiss franc. So that is what I want you to take note of. Then we also have another major currency pair, which is the AUD USD. So when we talk about AUD USD, what are we talking about? We are talking about the Australian dollar versus the United States dollar. So over here, the Australian dollar happens to be the base currency. You get me right? Yes. Then when we come to the USD happens to be the quote currency. So when we come to the AUD USD market, The AUD happens to be the base currency because it is the first currency in the currency pair. Then the USD happens to be their quote currency because it is the second currency in the currency pair. Then when we come to the USD card, when we talk about card, what are we talking about? So over here, the USD happens to be the United States dollar, which happens to be the base currency. Then the card, which is the Canadian dollar, happens to be their quote currency. Remember, you are with E-marketTubeFX and you are with your trader Henry Ampem. Today we are looking at Forex currency pairs. That is what we are looking at. I'm doing my best to break this thing down so that if you're a newbie and you find a challenge in regard to how to understand this concept, this video will help you to kill it once and for all, so that next time when you open your chart and you are looking at any market, be it NZD card, you know what it is. So with the NZD card, we are talking about the New Zealand dollar and the United States dollar. So over here, the New Zealand dollar happens to be the base currency. Then the USD happens to be the quote currency. So when we come to the Forex market with the major currency pair, they are 7 in number. That is what I want you to take note of. Now that we are done with the major currency pair, let's look at that of the minor currency pair. So with the minor currency pair, over here, what are we talking about? All that I want you to understand as a newbie is that minor currency pairs, also known as cross currency pairs or crosses. I will explain to you why it is being termed as what? Crosses. So if you're a trader, you are new in this market, and you hear your mentor telling you that you should focus more on crosses or you should do away with crosses, he or she is not telling you that you should do away with Jesus' cross, the cross which was being carried by Christ. That is not what that mentor is telling you, to do away with it. We are talking about some particular currency pairs on the market. And what are they? These currency pairs that we are talking about, they are essentially major currencies pairs without the US dollar. So with the minor currency pairs, all that I want you to notice that over here, the US dollar is not present. It doesn't include the US dollar, but it includes the other major currencies like the GBP, the Euro, the JPY, the AUD, the NZD, the CHF, and the CAD. All these are symbols you need to understand. So if I say Euro, we are talking about the European Union, the money that they spend. If I say GBP, what does it mean? We are talking about the Great British Pound. You should do your best to know all these things. Commit them to memory. If you talk about JPY, what are you talking about? We are talking about the Japanese yen. When you talk about AUD, we are talking about the Australian dollar. When you talk about the NZD, what are we talking about? We are talking about the New Zealand dollar. When you talk about the CHF, what are we talking about? We are talking about the Swiss francs. When we talk about CAD, what does it mean? We are talking about the Canadian dollar. So as a trader, these things, these basic things, please do not lose focus on. Do your best to understand these things so that one day you can sit your daughter down. One day you can sit your son down and help him or her to understand this market. And it is going to be the greatest gift you are going to give to that child of yours. Now let's continue. So as I earlier mentioned, with the minor currency pairs, the USD is not there, but it involves the other major currency pair which are being crossed. That is why it is being referred to as crosses. We'll look at it in detail so that you understand why we refer to as a cross currency pair or crosses. Minor pairs are traded less frequently than major currency pairs, so their liquidity is generally lower. So all that I want you to understand here is that if you compare the rate at which traders trade the major currency pairs, the USD, JPY, the Euro USD, and the rest, when we compare the rate at which traders, market participants, the big banks, the hedge funds, the retail traders, the rate at which we trade the major currency pair is higher than that of the minor currency pairs. So over there, liquidity, in terms of its liquidity, is lower. That is what I want you to understand. A situation where you go to a market. You go to a market where you see a lot of traders. So always I do my best to relate whatever we go through in our daily life with regard to whatever we do in the forex market. In a situation where you go to a particular market where you see traders heavily involved or interested in a particular product, you see that product is if you are selling, if you are selling that particular product, you are going to get profit, because buyers or people love or patronizing that particular product. So if you are selling that particular product, hey, you are going to make a lot of profit there. There is money there. You get what I'm saying? In a situation where there is a commodity which has less, people don't patronize it that much, and you are selling that particular product on a market, on a traditional market, who is going to ask you the price of it and buy with his or her money? So it means that whatever stuffs that you have in the shop, you are going to lose your money, because you hardly find people coming around to your shop or coming to your shop to buy. So most traders love to involve, or in other words, sellers will love to go in for products that buyers, or which has ready markets. Let me put it that way, which has ready market. So when you go to the forex market, the major currency pairs, market participants heavily traded. So it comes with a lot of liquidity. There is money there. But when we come to the minor currency pairs, the liquidity is quite lower as compared to the major currency pairs, because that one, traders don't love trading it that much as compared to the major currency pairs. So that is what I want you to understand here. Why that spreads? So due to lower liquidity, because there's not much money there as compared to the major currency pair. It comes with a what? A wider spread. It comes with a what? A wider spread. The difference between the buying and the selling price, that is what we refer to as the spread, is usually wider than the major currency pairs. This means higher transaction costs for traders. So if you are trading the minor currency pair, it costs more than that of you trading the major currency pair. So that is what I want you to note. That is what I want you to note as a trader. So you see why I said some of these basic things are very important, so that as and when you open chart, you know what to do. So if you have experience when it comes to gambling, don't bring that to the forex market. Over here, we apply whatever knowledge you've acquired with regard to how to trade this market and do it the right way, so that you can get that profit that you are looking for. If you think of chasing price, or if you do your best to chase price on the market, you end up feeding the market with your hard-earned money. So you do well to chase knowledge on the market, then in return the market will reward you for your effort. So now let's look at the minor currency pairs that we are looking at. So over here, you heard me saying that the minor currency pairs are being referred to as what? Cross currency pairs or crosses. So over here, as you can see, we are looking at the euro, the currencies, the other major currency pairs, other major currency that is being crossed with or paired with. That is what we are going to look at. I repeat, we said the minor currency pairs are referred to as what? Cross currency pairs or crosses. What it means is that these currency pairs, of which the USD is not there or is not present, they are being crossed with other major currency pairs. So now we are looking at the euro, the other major currency pairs that it is crossed with. So now we have the euro over here crossed with the GBP, which is the Great British Pound, as you can see here. We also have the euro being crossed with what? The CHF, which is the Swiss francs. We also have the euro crossed with the CAD, which is the Canadian dollar. We also have the euro crossed with the AUD. Then we also have the euro crossed with NZD. Then we also have the euro crossed with what? JPY. So these are examples of what? Minor currency pairs for the euro crosses. I pray you understand this thing. Remember, you are with E-marketTubeFX and you are with your trader Henry Ampem Dako. Today we are looking at forex currency pairs. That is what we are doing. I'm doing my best to look at this in detail so that if you're a newbie and you have a challenge with regard to how to understand these pairs, this content will help you to kill this once and for all. Now let's look at the British pound crosses. So we are done with the euro crosses and now we are looking at the British pound crosses. So over here, all I want you to understand is that we are looking at the Great British Pound, the other major currency that it is crossed with under the minor currency. So over here we have GBP CHF, so which is the Great British Pound paired or crossed with what? The Swiss francs. Over here we also have the Great British Pound being crossed with the what? The Canadian dollar. That is what I want you to note. We also have the Great British Pound being crossed with what? The Australian dollar. Then also we have the Great British Pound crossed with the New Zealand dollar. Then we also have the Great British Pound crossed with the Japanese yen. So these are examples of the Great British Pound crosses. Now let's look at the Swiss francs crosses. So we are done with the euro crosses. We are also done with the GBP crosses. We are now looking at the CHF crosses. So with the Swiss francs crosses, we all have the Swiss francs crossed with the JPY, which is the Japanese yen. We also have that of the AUD being crossed with the what? The Swiss francs. We also have the NZD, the New Zealand dollar, being crossed with the what? The CHF. So as we move on, please do not forget the structure. We've looked at the structure. I've told you earlier on that looking at the structure of the currency pair, the first currency happens to be the base currency. Then the second currency in the pair happens to be the quote currency because it is the second currency in that currency pair. So you should take note. So as we move on, AUD here happens to be the base currency and the Swiss francs also happens to be the quote currency. So when we come here with the Swiss francs crosses, the NZD here happens to be the base currency, then the Swiss francs continue to be the quote currency because it is the second currency in this pair. Then when we come here, we have the CAD happens to be the base currency. Then we have the Swiss francs happens to be the quote currency. So as we move on, do not forget the structure. Do not forget the structure. Remember, you are with E-marketTubeFX and you are with your trader Henry Ampem Dako. Now let's look at Japanese yen crosses. Now we are looking at the Japanese yen crosses. So with the Japanese yen crosses, we have the AUD JPY, which is the Australian dollar versus or cross with the Japanese yen. Then also we have the NZD, which is the New Zealand dollar, cross with the Japanese yen. Then we also have the CAD, which is the Canadian dollar, cross with the Japanese yen. So I believe you are beginning to understand why these pairs are being referred to as what? Crosses or cross currency pairs. So whenever you hear your mentor telling you that or saying something about crosses or cross currency pairs, he or she is talking about what? Minor currency pairs. So I pray you understand this. Now let's look at the Australian and New Zealand dollar crosses. So over here we have the AUD, NZD, we have the AUD card, then the NZD card. So now I want you to take note of something. The number of minor pairs depends on which crosses your broker offers. So the number will depend on the one that your broker will give you. So but in standard forex trading, there are 20 standard sets of minor currency pairs widely recognized. So that is what I want you to take note of. There are 20 standard sets of minor currency pairs widely recognized. So let's continue to that of the exotic currency pair. So when we talk about the exotic currency pair, what are we talking about? When we talk about the exotic currency pairs, what are we talking about? Earlier on, we made mention that when you talk about the major currency pairs, we are talking about the USD involved with other major currencies. So we have the Euro USD, the GBP USD, the USD JPY, and the rest. Then also with regard to the minor currency pair, we came to realize, or we've come to note that with the minor currency pair, that one, the USD is not there. The USD is absent, but it involves the major currencies cross with other majors. So we have where you have the GBP, JPY, and the rest. So now we are looking at that of the what? The exotic currency pairs. The exotic currency pairs. So with the exotic currency pairs, combine a major currency with a currency from a smaller or emerging economy. I pray you understand this, my dear subscriber, my dear viewer watching me at this very moment. All I want you to note here is that when you talk about the exotic currency pair, all I want you to take note is that it combines major currency with a currency from a smaller or emerging economy. I am a Ghanaian. I'm from Ghana. I'm Henry. I'm from Ghana. In my country, the currency that we spend is what? The Ghana cedi. And Ghana is an emerging economy. Yes, Ghana is an emerging economy. So on the market, you can have a currency pair like the USD GHS. So over here, the USD happens to be the major currency which is being paired with my currency, which happens to be an emerging economy with its currency, which is the Ghana cedi. I hope you got in the picture. So if you're also from Turkey watching me at this very moment, USD is a major currency. And the Turkish lira or the Turkey economy is an emerging economy. So its lira or its currency happens to be the Turkish lira. It's being paired with the USD. So it happens to be what? Exotic. If you are from South Africa, my dear South Africa traders, shout out to you guys. You are doing great on the market. I love whatever you are doing, Charlie. You guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. Let's keep on inspiring the brothers in the continent so that they all do it the right way. So if you are from South Africa, if you are from South Africa, you are watching me from SA. SA is an emerging economy. So it's rand being paired with what? Which is the ZAR being paired with the USD. So in such a pair, we refer to as what? Exotic pair. Exotic currency pair. That is what I want you to understand. Then, if you're also watching me from Mexico, the peso being the currency that you spend there, Mexico is an emerging economy. So its currency being paired with a major currency like the USD. So in such a market or in such a pair, we refer to as what? The exotic currency pair. I pray this example that I'm using or I'm giving out will help you to deepen your understanding when it comes to the exotic currency pair. So let's continue. So over here, all I want you to take note is that we have what? The USD based exotics. So example is what we are looking at. We have USD based, just as I did in the minor currency pairs, where we look at the euro based what do you call it, crosses, then the GBP based crosses, then we also look at the JPY based crosses. Over here we are looking at what? The USD based what? Exotics. So the USD being a major currency paired with an emerging what? Economy, the currency that they spend. So we are looking at the US based exotics. So we are done with the USD Turkish lira up to that of the USD and the Ghana cedi. Now we also have the continuation is what you see here. We have the US dollar and the Swiss krona. So please, all these are symbols as a trader you should know. Then the meaning is what you should do your best to commit them to memory, so that next time if you open chart and you see USD SEK, you know, ask, what does the SEK mean? What does it mean? But mainly you see it on the chart, you know that we are talking about the what? The Swiss krona. the US dollar versus what? The Swedish krona. Then we also have that of the USD versus that is the NOK. What does this mean? We are talking about the US dollar and the Norwegian what? Krone. So you should do your best to commit all these symbols to memory. Then what it means, so that as and when you see these symbols on the chart, you will know what it is referring to. Remember, you are with E-marketTubeFX and you are with your trader Henry Ampem. Today we are looking at the Forex currency pairs. I'm doing my best to help my dear newbies to have a better understanding when it comes to this Forex currency pair, so that as and when you open charts and you see these pairs staring at you on the face, you will have a better understanding of what it means, so that you use it to take the right decision on the market and make the dream profit that you are looking for. So these are the US based exotics. These are the US based exotics. So you should take note of. So we also have the USD PLN. What does it mean? We are talking about the US dollar and the Polish zloty. So that is what I want you to take note of. So that is it. So these are the US based exotics. There are so many of them, but these are few presented to you on the slide. Then let's quickly look at that of the euro-based exotics. The euro-based exotics, what are we talking about? So with the euro-based exotic, the euro is a major currency when it comes to the forex market. So it's pair or other emerging economy, the currency that is being paired with is what we are going to look at right now. So we have the euro and the Turkish lira, just as we saw with the USD and the Turkish lira. We also have the euro being paired with the Turkish lira. So if you love trading the euro, what we call the USD paired with the Turkish lira, another trader also would love to trade the euro paired with the Turkish lira. What I mean is everyone and what he or she loves to do. So that is why I said earlier on that whatever goes on in our daily life, me, Henry, I don't see anything different or I don't see any difference between what goes on in the traditional market and what goes on the forex market. Yes, I always tell my students will confirm. I always tell them that whatever goes on the traditional market, the same thing happens on the forex market, because when you go to the traditional market, it's the same human beings that you see them trading over there. Those buying and those selling and those buying. When you go to the forex market, it's the same thing. It's we human beings that we buy and we sell, this currency pairs there. So how we crave for a particular commodity on the traditional market is the same thing when you go to the forex market. We crave for a particular commodity. So you see the reason why, but the difference is the things that we trade. So when you go to the traditional market, we have the miscellaneous provisions. There's so many stuff that we trade over there. Then when you go to the forex market, you trade what? Currencies. When you go to the commodity market, we have gold, we have oil that we trade. When you go to the crypto market, we have the cryptocurrencies that we trade. When you go to indices too, we have the S&P 500 and the rest that we traded. Then the synthetic too, the volumes. Yes, so these are things as a trader you should understand. So personally, I don't see anything different from that of what goes on at the traditional market and that of the forex market, because in these two markets that we are talking about, it involves human beings. Yes, we always show how we crave for a particular commodity in both markets. So that is what I want you to understand. So these are the euro-based exotics that I want you to take note of. The euro-based, so we have the euro, and that of what? The ZAR. So the euro being paired with an emerging economy, their currency, which is the South African rand. Then we also have the euro paired with the Mexican peso. Then we also have the euro paired with the what? The SEK, which is the Swedish krona. We also have the euro paired with the NOK, which is the euro versus the Norwegian krona. Then we also have the euro versus the DKK. What are we talking about? The euro and that of the what? The Danish krone. So that is what I want you to understand. Yes, that is what I want you to understand. Then we also have the euro and the HUF. What are we talking about? We are talking about the euro and the Hungarian forint. So these are things that as a trader you should do your best to commit them to memory, so that as and when you open charts you will have better understanding of what as being presented to you on the chart. Now let's look at the GBP based exotics. The GBP base, we are talking about the Great British Pound based exotics. So over here, the Great British Pound being a major currency on the forex market, being paired with a currency from emerging economy. So we have the GBP, the SEK, which is the Great British Pound, paired with the Swedish krona. Then we have the GBP versus the NOK, which is the Great British Pound, paired with the Norwegian krone. So we have the GBP and the DKK, just as we did over there. The GBP and the DKK, what it means is that the Great British Pound paired with the Danish krone. So these are things as a trader you should understand. And let me also remind you that the structure is something you shouldn't forget. So in this currency pairs that you see here, the GBP happens to be the base currency, and the SEK happens to be, or which is the Swedish krona, happens to be the what? The quote currency. Over here too, the GBP continue to be the base currency, and the NOK happens to be the quote currency. So over here, all the GBP are in the position of what? A base currency, and the currency from the emerging economy occupies a position of what? A quote currency, because it is the second currency in the currency pair. So this is what I want you to take note of. Remember, you are with E-marketTubeFX and you are with your trader Henry Ampem Dako. Now let's look at that of the JPY based exotic. So over here, as you can see, we have the Japanese yen versus that of the SEK. What are we talking about? We are talking about the Japanese yen and that of the Swedish krona. Then we also have the JPY versus the NOK. What are we talking about? We are talking about the Japanese yen versus the Norwegian krone. Then we also have the JPY DKK. We are talking about the Japanese yen and the Danish krone. So now we also have the JPY and that of the TRY. What does it mean? We are talking about the Japanese yen and that of the Turkish lira. We also have the JPY and the ZAR, my dear South Africans. So that what it means is that we have the Japanese yen and the South African rand. So that is what I want you to think. So we are still on the exotics being paired, which is when we talk about the exotics, we are talking about a major currency being paired with a currency from an emerging economy. So other common exotics is the AUD, SEK, which is the Australian dollar and the Swedish krona. Then we also have the CAD, SGD, which is the Canadian dollar, and the Singapore dollar. So these are other examples of the exotic that you should take note of. Yes, so in summary, we have majors 7, then we have minors standard, which is 20, then exotic we have 40 plus possible combination, but most brokers offer around 20 to 30 of the most liquid ones. Yes, which is the USD, TRY. Then we also have the USD, ZAR, which is the South African rand. Then we have the USD and the MXN, which is the Mexican peso. So that is what I want you to understand here. That is what I want you to understand here. So these are things as a trader. These are things as a trader you should do your best to understand, so that as and when you are trading, you trade with what? Understanding. As and when you are trading, you trade with what? Understanding. So we should all take note of the stuff that we've mentioned here. Then anytime you open chart, you do that with what? Understanding.